the difference with Annex Wealth Management? We took a call a while back on a radio show where the caller was a couple of years away from retirement, and he asked an interesting question. I'll paraphrase. So basically, when should I get in and talk to you guys? And if I remember correctly, he was 62, something like that, right, Mark Beck?
Yeah, I think so.
Mark Beck is Chief Growth Officer at Annex Wealth Management. Mark, when I heard that, I thought about where he was on the retirement path and how we would have different planning processes with him, say, than somebody in their 40s or maybe somebody in their 70s. That is custom and comprehensive wealth management and planning, right?
It is, yeah. And I think the answer to the question, by the way, when should I get in to see you guys, is as soon as you're ready for advice. And I think it's not about age, but it's about a mindset. When you're ready for advice, that's the time when you seek out the relationship with a wealth management firm that's ready to provide that advice.
That's a good point. If I could go back in time and talk to the 35, 40-year-old version of me, I think I would have said, now is the time. Let's say somebody engages Annex Wealth Management in their 40s. What's the process with them?
In the 40s, we're talking about directional planning. We're building financial security, and we're building the foundation to be able to begin to build upon. So we're making sure that we have things like emergency funds covered, the right life insurance potentially in place, and then we're charting a good path towards using the right tools for accumulation. So we're saving in the right spots, we're going in the right direction from that perspective, and being as tax efficient as we can, all with the eye towards setting up maximum flexibility for the next couple of decades.
Let's say somebody's in their 50s and they come to Annex Wealth Management. They've been longer in their work cycle. Kids, if they've got them, might be in college. Retirement is off looming in the distance, but it's not that far away.
Yes, you're right. And this is a spot where we've got to be very diligent. You can't lose any time here because this is typically where, disposable income is higher, so savings patterns can be stronger. We're maxing out the tools that are available to us. We're building some tax diversification within our plan. We're starting to really get sort of a sense directionally on where we're headed, and we're making the course adjustments now so that we're on path to achieve the goal, not just get there and figure out where we are.
Let's get to that caller who was just a couple of years away from retirement. If somebody comes to us at that point in their life, where are we working with them?
Yeah, we're starting to execute at this point. There are a lot of decision points that come about in your 60s. We start to look at things like transitioning into retirement. Where's the healthcare going to come from? We have decisions around pensions or Social Security income. We're starting to understand what the lifestyle expectation is and how we're going to support that with our resources. Again, with an idea around how we're going to do this efficiently. We've really got to be thinking about the tax impact into our retirement years. So we're lining those things up, more detailed planning.
Mark Beck is Chief Growth Officer at Annex Wealth Management, and we meet our clients where they're at. I know we work with clients who are already retired. What happens when we do that and maybe there's an existing plan from somebody else? They come to Annex. How do we treat that?
Yes, sometimes that makes our job a little easier. We have the starting point already, which is typically the data. One of the barriers for people, the reason that sometimes there's procrastination that creeps in, is the idea of having to gather all of this information together. We work with some clients that are extremely detail-oriented. They've got the spreadsheets, they're ready to go, and others where collecting the statements sort of feels like a task, right? So if you've already got some of that stuff in place, the transition to us to be able to help you fine-tune the plan, dig deeper into the planning, and of course, align the investment portfolio with your goals and provide the advice and guidance that you need from that perspective.
Now, that's somebody who's been retired for a while. If there's somebody that's been retired for a longer period, in fact, my dad came to Annex in his 80s. He had moved back to be nearer to family. I felt it important that he have a fiduciary working on his stuff. That's not uncommon.
Yes, absolutely. This is a spot where we're watching out for major mistakes that can come creeping in, financial security, the risks to that, right? And we're making sure that, the estate plan is in place, any philanthropic goals are set, and we know how we're going to accomplish those. We're being as efficient as we can. We're talking about what's the legacy, what do we want to have happen with our money when we're ready to leave it either to loved ones or to our favorite charities, things like that.
That's the when. Let's just talk about the where. There's Annex Private Client, there's Annex Comprehensive Wealth, and there's Annex Ignite. Let's talk a little bit about Annex Private Client.
Annex Private Client is where we're working with those folks where the financial situation has become advanced and we've got complexities and opportunities both on the tax and estate and philanthropy and certainly with customizing the investment portfolio to fit their needs. That's what Private Client is about, is bringing the strategists from those areas together to help execute in a more complex financial situation.
We're going to meet you where you're at, whether in your 40s, your 50s, your 60s, 70s, maybe you're beyond. Investment, retirement planning, tax planning, and estate planning. We do it as a fee-only fiduciary. Mark Beck, Chief Growth Officer at Annex Wealth Management. Thank you.
My pleasure.